Congratulations on the album. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, good. It's a good album. Yeah.
Oh, wow, I like it.
We're not biased, but we like it. Yeah.
No, but it was a different one to make for obvious reasons.
That's right. Yeah.
Malcolm, although is still there on the songwriting credits.
Yes.
And you put them together with things that you had done with Malcolm in the past. Can you tell me how that worked?
Well, we've always each album we ever done was a bit, what you had. If you had any newer stuff and and older stuff, and that has always been the way we ever did albums. And so really there was nothing, apart from Mal's physical presence not being there. I mean, I had to go through a lot myself and put ideas together. But Mal kept, writing up until he, could do it no more. So, so, there's a lot of stuff that we've had to, over the whole career of AC/DC. I mean, there's boxes full of stuff, and a lot of great riffs and song ideas that we never used. So.
Yeah, and this is an album that has some great.
Yes.
AC/DC riffs in them.
That's right.
Like
yes.
Sweet Candy, for example. I mean, was that one that was in the cupboard, just looking for a song to call home?
Yeah, you find sometimes you find something, and it's just that you get something else that just you put two things together. You're waiting for that little spark that goes boom. This is gonna meld. It's gonna happen. So. And then sometimes you get an idea that you just go, you get it in one. You get a little bit of inspiration, and you go, oh, boom! Everything comes together in one go.
Brian, you were watching this process take place without the physical presence of Malcolm. What was it like?
Well, it was, first of all, it was a strange feeling, because your workmate that would be worked with for the last, for me, for the last 35 years, wasn't there anymore. For Angus, it was a little bit more. It was his brother, his workmate, but Stevie came in, and Stevie is a part of the Young family. They've got it music running in their blood. These guys, and he came in and. He fitted in so natural because we'd worked with him before, and he worked his socks off to get everything done. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, on this album, it just felt like there was a special togetherness to, after listening to Mal's words, he was an inspirational leader kind of as well, Malcolm, and he said, keep making music. Without any of that, sympathy stuff. There was none of that stuff around. He just said, just keep doing it. And that's the way he talked. Straight shooter. So we did, and it was great because we just kind of had fun doing it, just to say we can still do this, So it was magical time,
When did Malcolm's illness become apparent? Was it something that you noticed?
Well, actually, around when we made Black Eyes, and when we were writing songs together, me and him, then it was noticeable.
What did you notice?
It's just strange things, I mean, memory things. Malcolm was always very organized, and. It was kind of strange, for the first time I seen him disorganized, not being confused about a lot of things. So that, that's when it kind of, hit me that something was not right with him, And when we were actually doing that album, it became even more prominent. And then he was being confused, just traveling somewhere and stuff. So. He got diagnosed then, and then they said he had shrinkage of the brain, and so he had some medicines and stuff. He had good care. He had the best treatment. But as I said to him then at the time, do you want to keep doing this? You want to keep. You don't have to be doing this if you. if you don't feel you're capable. And he said, no, I keep going till I, till I can't, so. And that's...
Yeah, I know. It was, and he did do it great, I remember, on stage, as Angus come and told us, like, Malcolm started to rehearse the songs that he'd played for 30 years, every day, before he did a show.
Yes.
And his dedication.
And now Stevie is in the band, and he's, I mean, you've been that guy, Brian. You've been the one who's
I was
come in and felt the need to, well, meet up to being a member of AC/DC.
Yeah, well, what'll happen to him is the same that happened to me. The band just made us feel welcome straight away, and I didn't feel like I was an outsider just jumping in. And it's the same with Stevie. As soon as he got to the studio, we would just put an arm around him and said, "How are you, kiddo?" And he was off. And that's part of the secret. You have to keep it as a team. And Stevie's just gonna do fine, mate. I'll tell you, he's gonna do fine.
Well, you've managed to recreate the sound that you and Malcolm had together, which was two halves that came together to make something
you make it
more
one.
than the whole.
Yes. Yeah, well, that was always the thing with Malcolm and myself, The style Mal played, he's a very solid, hard rhythm player. And, and I would do the bit of colour on top of it, So, between the two of us, we tried to make it one big solid guitar thing, And Malcolm was a very strong, very strong, solid player. Very confident the way he played. Stevie does the same thing, I mean, it's look, Stevie, myself, Mal, we all grew up. We were at the same kind of age group, It's only 2 years Stevie is younger than me, And, it was like Stevie would emulate the way Mal played, whereas I was more the kind of whizzing about trying to, play solo stuff, and getting up the dusty end, as Mal was saying, Angus goes up to the dusty part.
If you hadn't found Stevie or considered Stevie as the replacement,
Yes.
and even though Malcolm had told you that he wanted it to go on, would there have been a time when you actually asked yourself that question, whether it might have been time to call it quits?
Yeah, well, there's always, a point, We had the same thing with Bond, This is, kind of hard decision you got to make. Do you keep going or do you stop? So, and it's the same, the same thing now, But Malcolm had that. I guess it's hit that drive of his, and he always wanted to, finish what he started, more or less. So, that's how I've always looked at it,
Did you ever worry about that, Brian? Did you think that, although Malcolm had said he wants it to go on, did you ever think to yourself, I wonder
to me it was always up to Angus, really, because, Angus was just what you've said, was part of these two men who made these riffs that nobody else made for a long time, since I was at school. And so really, I really thought it might not happen. I thought, if I turned around and said, I can't do it without Malcolm, I would have understood perfectly, But thankfully he didn't. He said, Stevie's there, I think we can do it. And I think we did.
Yeah, well, you got to give it a shot.
Yeah, you got to try.
Give it your best shot.
It's the 40th anniversary of Countdown at the moment, and I was actually watching this morning some footage of your group. Do you remember that?
Here comes the embarrassing bit. Yeah, we got.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that gig? Do you remember what the reaction was afterwards when Bon appeared in the schoolgirls' uniform?
And the schoolgirls, then, yeah. That's what Bon says, Here he was years singing, and then overnight, he couldn't believe it, Yeah. He said, he does this one stupid thing, gets on dressed and drag, and and everyone's talking about it, So, yeah, it was kind of strange, But he did it as only Bon could do it, with the smoke in his mouth, and kept lifting up his skirt,
I mean, AC/DC, you and Malcolm had global ambitions for this band back in the 1970s, and you achieved them pretty much in the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, everyone says, you know, you're a big player. It's not really the case, you know.
No.
You were doing stuff at that time, you know. I guess it was you at the time you would, you know, you're working day to day, you know. So it was never, you know, I think Malcolm was a kind of person, you know, that when we had to change, I suppose, you know. I think we were, it was lucky for us in some respects. It was easier because people who were coming in to, you know, if it's somebody coming from America or something, then they'd go, who's that band? So there was always people who were interested in what we were doing, and you know, so there was interest before we even left Australia. So that helped. You know, you know.
When the time comes, if the time comes to write the next AC/DC album,
Yes.
do you do the same thing? Do you go back through the
Everything.
cupboard, pull out the old riffs and licks and try to put them together
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
without Malcolm? How's that going to feel?
Yeah, it is strange, you know. Yeah. But I have to also look at it, you know. I mean, there's a lot of me and Malcolm also. Besides when we wrote together, we always collaborated and bounced off each other. But you know, when we got ideas, you know, I mean, Malcolm had plenty of ideas. He worked on his own. And I'm the same, you know. I had a lot of ideas. And I mean, there was a lot of things that I did that Mal would go, well, you know, that's a great idea. And it'd be, you know, you'd get an idea like, say, Highway to Hell, you know, and it would spring in you in the car, and you'd get in the rehearsal room, and I pick up the guitar, and I go, hey, Mal, I got this. Mal hop behind the drum, you know, and you know, I'd start playing. I go, right, I got the chord, da da da, da da da. You know, and I'm going, right, Mal, you know, now. And he's going, now? And I'm going, yeah. And then, boom, pa, boom. You know, he did the beat. Yeah, yeah. Couldn't think of another chord, just sort of hit E. And then, you know, just strummed the first thing that, you know, that hit for a chorus idea. Yeah. And I went, well, that's basically the idea. You know, and Mal said, you got a title for it? And I said, not yet. I said, yeah, I'll think on it. Went to the toilet, had a cigarette, came out and said, I got it, you know, Highway to Hell, you know. That was, you know.
It's that simple.
And that was, yeah, but it was it's that space of time, you know. Usually when you're not thinking, you know, you get, you know, you can sit there and think and scratch your head and go, oh, there's this, that, and then you just, you know, you get a quiet moment, you know, and something springs.
It sounds like you are thinking about another
Yes.
album. You're going to keep going.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got to love it. You know, I still like picking up the guitar. I still like, you know, banging out chords. You know.
Brian, I don't know how you keep your voice going. It sounds like you're...
Neither do I. I've got a bloody clue, man. It just keeps popping out every time I open my mouth. Thank Christ. But, yeah.
You sound angelic. I mean.
Just, that's all that training and voice coaching I do. Jesus.
Lemon and honey?
What's that?
Lemon and honey?
No, I didn't do any of that crap. I just,
Sandpaper and...
I still smoke, which I shouldn't, but I do. And you know, and I don't know, man, you know, just lucky, I guess.
Half your luck. Thanks very much, guys, for
It's
joining
a
us.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Good on you.
Yeah.